$250. They take it out of here. Yeah, this part here needs to be fixed. The back, because it won't latch. See how the latches?
Right.
It latches in the front. There's a strap that goes here. It fastens to here to hold that down. That's the way the guy brought it down to us.
This is the passenger side of the vehicle. I haven't taken off the lifting mechanism yet. I'm going to try to do one half at a time just for safety's sake. As you can see, I've already taken out the lifting on this one, and I found a lot of damage. This side isn't nearly as bad, so I'm going to do the worst side first. That'll help lift up on it. I'm not crazy about being in here with it up in the air, but I got it propped up. I put a 2x4, two 2x4s clear across the whole top. So I've got the weight sitting on these two 2x4s. Got one of them sitting where the old couch is. The other one screwed right into the floor. So it should be safe. Now it's just a matter of tearing it all apart and then trying to fit a piece of, I'm going to use womanize. It says Vanguard Industries of Michigan Incorporated, Cologne, Michigan. Bronco 186. I bought this as junk, and that's just what I got. Didn't look bad from the outside. The problem was it wouldn't go up and down. It would go up, but very barely. As you can see, the lifting mechanism hung up and ripped holes in the back. But when I started looking, everything was rotten. They put lights clear around it, and every light leaked water. And they just put strips of wood in here to lift it, which shocked me. I wouldn't have thought that'd have been strong enough, but must have worked for a while till the water ate it up. So now I'm going to eliminate most of the lights. I went ahead and fixed this side. I didn't clad it with aluminum like they had before. I used the cladding for a pattern, and I cut it out of a full 12-foot long piece of decking board, trim decking board, which is only an inch thick. So I've got the front and one side done. Now I'm going to do the other two, the front, the back, and the other side. I've never done this before, but it's basically just a lot of hard work. Not too complicated, or they wouldn't have been able to make it. If you do this, you're going to need a table saw, because these pieces of wood on the front and back are tapered at the top. I measured them and it comes out 45, but I don't know how. So I'm going to try to wedge one in there. I got to do this one next so that I had a room to slide it up in there. You'd know if you were doing this. And when I get all done, if it works, then I'll try to make it look decent. An interesting part of this lifting mechanism is it has a rod in here, and that will not turn. I've tried heating it, I tried looking up parts for it. I don't know what the heck it is, but as long as that's stuck in there, it's going to twist it apart again. So I'm going to try to use it without that internal rod. I don't know what's going to happen. I noticed when I'd let go of the cranking it up, it would come right back down again. I don't see any kind of a latch. So the only latch I can think of would be whatever's inside here that's locked up. As you can see, they went to a lot of trouble to put something inside there. I've drilled on both sides of it on the other one, and there's nothing there. There must be some kind of a clutch in there. I'm using the cladding that was on the sides of the roof for a pattern to cut my 12-foot long wooden strut on the sides. In other words, this is going to go up in there. Can you see what I'm doing? It'll be left like this. It's the only thing I got for a pattern. It's not straight, it's curved, I guess, so the water runs off. As you can see. See the curve in it? So I'll cut that with a jigsaw, and hopefully it'll fit right up in there. This truck only has 47,000 miles on it. Traded an old RV, 78 RV for it. I tried to get $3,000 for the RV. I couldn't get it done. I asked this guy offered to trade me even up for this truck. I did have to put a couple $100 in the engine. And I've got some other before pictures. I made a pantry. Took out the big heavy table, put in this piece of plywood, and it can make a place for the grandkids to sleep. I think I can sleep 2 of them there. I can sleep there by myself. Took out the sink, it leaked. Took out the nasty range. Put in a piece of plywood, painted it. As we talked before, I put in all new wood around it. Right now it's collapsed. I got it collapsed. I was checking it in a rainstorm for leaks. Everything's fine. I did find one leak this morning, but I fixed it. It was where somebody had ran a screw up through the inside of the roof outside. So anyway, I've got this all done. Got put me in a smoke alarm. Got some little mattress pads there, a couple sleeping bags. I've got an old battery charger. I put it in there so that I can charge my batteries when I'm at a campground. Put in a real small inverter from Walmart. Put myself in 3 12-volt outlets. Put in one unfused 110. This isn't an inverter, it's a converter. It's basically a battery charger. It puts out 12 volts, input 125. Made me a place to hook up my antenna for my TV, whether it's an antenna or cable. Made me a little wooden step to go into my truck. The step, you can see the step bumper. It's a very small step, so I'm going to put this in here, just 2 bolts, and it'll be in there. It'll have a step whenever I need it. My wife, not as sure-footed as we were. I think I'm ready to go camping. I do have a rear camera ordered on Amazon.com. I just ordered it a couple days ago. It hasn't come here yet. I'm going to hook it up and see if I can make it so that I can disconnect it when I take the top off when I'm just driving around the truck. I don't need a camera then. This is the furnace. I had to take it apart, clean the orifices in it. It runs off of a little 15 pound or 5 pound. In other words, a barbecue grill tank, which is mounted on the outside. That's what's really inside that box we're looking at right now. Put a skylight in it. It had a great big tall scoop for air. So I took that out. I put me a skylight. If you look right there, that's where the leak was. So somebody had ran a screw up and went right through it. Here's where somebody ran another screw up, but they didn't go through, so it must have been a shorter screw. So I'm in here checking it for leaks. Don't see any. And inside here, I have my battery. I put that in here. This is really the outside, outside the camper. It's a truck. I bought these little quick disconnects. They're like little miniature high amperage disconnects called Anderson Power Products. It's the same kind they use on industrial forklifts, only it's much smaller. I was hoping it said the size on here, but I don't see the size. I think it was a 6, but I'm not sure. Okay, don't quote me on that one. These little guys are great. You can disconnect your battery real quick. Now I took an extra pair. I put them on an old pair of jumper cables, about a foot long. Now you always pull my boat, which has electric motor. This way I don't have to take a battery charger with me. I can just plug this right in here, plug in my camper to the outside world, and this charger will feed into here, charge up my battery overnight or whatever. Be a good deal, I hope. Tried to make it simple. My wife's going to make curtains for it. It's pouring down rain right now, if you can hear. I do still have to put this little guy up. I haven't decided where yet. Probably going to end up right about there. No blame. In this camper, any place you put anything is always in the way, because there's just not that much room. It's only an 8-footer. But really, for what I have, it's about as much room as you're going to get. As you can see, this has very little room in here. That's inside there is the tank, the gas tank, the LP. I can get that from the outside. Little drawer here. Actually, it's a pretty big drawer. And this crank here. This is what I talked about, how I fixed that with these little rods. Works great. So this summer we're gonna hit the road. These are the way they tie down the camper. I think they're called stake tie down. They basically bolt into the stake holes in your bed. All this stuff came with the camper, and then it's got these little hooks, and you just hook it wherever you can, just to keep it from jumping off, I guess. They don't look really great, but what can I do? It's your gas tank. 1999 Ford F-150 XL.